Brutes haven't always been the smartest species, but whatever they did to the Spiker deserves some barbecue seasoned human flesh. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Spiker might just be my favorite weapon in Campaign Evolved. Now, I know this is pretty ridiculous to say since I haven't played it yet, but based on everything I've seen, this weapon just got a massive glow up. But before we get into the masterpiece we have today, we have to talk about its blasphemous predecessors and the trials and tribulations it took to get here. Starting with its original debut in Halo 3, the Spiker was essentially a brute SMG, being fully automatic, firing superheated spikes at a violent rate. It hit harder than the assault rifle and absolutely shredded flood forms, and unlike most Covenant weapons, it actually looked like something humanity would have built if they were completely insane. But what made it truly iconic was the dual wielding. Being able to pair it with other weapons added variety, but when you had two Spikers in close quarters, it became one of the most aggressive weapon combos in the game. The Spiker also had those bayonet blades under the barrel that made the shoot and melee combo absolutely lethal. But like every weapon, it wasn't perfect. The Spiker's biggest weakness was its projectile speed. The spikes traveled slowly enough that you had to lead your targets, making it almost useless outside of close range. It's safe to say Halo 3 Spiker wasn't useless, but it wasn't one of the best weapons either. That's when things really changed in Reach. Just like the brutes themselves, the Spiker somehow got downgraded. The biggest change was the removal of dual wielding. Since Reach abandoned the mechanic entirely, brutes now carried the Spiker with two hands, instantly removing one of the weapon's most iconic features. The weapon's damage was also reduced compared to Halo 3, requiring significantly more shots to take down a Spartan. To make matters worse, the plasma repeater basically stole its entire job, making the Spiker practically useless in Reach's sandbox. What you didn't know is that it doesn't even appear by default on any multiplayer map, and it was largely absent from matchmaking unless you played the campaign and firefight modes whenever you fought brutes. Ironically, the Reach version was so much cooler than Halo 3's. It received a visible firing bolt mechanism, more prominent iron sights, orange lights instead of the classic blue ones, scratched and dented bayonets, and what appears to be red markings across the body of the weapon. Both the orange lights and barrel would gradually glow brighter as it heated up, and despite looking like it was about to explode, the weapon never actually overheated. The white hot barrel may have even been intended to indicate peak inaccuracy, but none of that mattered because nobody used Reach's sniper. It definitely deserved better. But then something interesting happened. The Spiker ended up glowing up. In Halo Wars 2, the Banished introduced a completely redesigned variant known as the Grenflekt Spiker. Compared to the older Covenant era Pegasus design, this version looked far more aggressive. It featured a sleeker silhouette, a larger magazine, and up to 6 radial blades surrounding the weapon. Perfect for when they fought against the Flood. Unfortunately, Halo Wars 2 is an RTS game, so we never actually got to use it, but the visual upgrade was massive. Now that you're fully aware of the Spiker's great journey, it's time to talk about what we actually have now in Campaign Evolved. From the get-go, it already resembles the Halo Reach Spiker being held with two hands, as well as its leather wrappings on the handle, except when it's overheating, it has a little tube connecting the overheating mechanism to a fan that helps it cool off. The Spiker also reuses Bungie's original sound design, but remakes the sound a little more violent. The animations are also a lot more aggressive, looking like it could fall apart at any moment when you're firing it. Gameplay wise, everything about it just feels powerful in a way we've never seen before. So it's safe to say this has been my favorite weapon we've seen so far, and that's coming from an energy sword purist. Let me know what you guys think of the Spiker, and as always, subscribe to join the Madama Empire.